Do you dream of owning your own farmland or hunting property? Does it keep you up at night? Have you come up with a plan on how you're going to make that dream happen and make moments like these right here happen? Be able to make a draw on that buck that you have a few trail camera pictures of, to be able to hunt over some sort of food plot or some wildlife management design of trees that you have planted 10 years ago, and be able to take an awesome buck or turkey over that area in an area you manage with your own hands. Well, if you're interested in trying to get a piece of hunting property on your own, watch this video and I'll give you my tips on how I recommend going about buying your first big piece of property that you can manage all on your own. Hey everybody, it's John with Lake Erie Chestnuts DeerAddiction, just general kind of outdoor stuff. Today I wanted to do an episode on how to buy farmland or hunting property. You may have a dream of wanting some hunting property. I know when I first was able to consider it, I had finally finished my education and I just really wanted to get back to my roots. I grew up in the country and I really wanted my kids to be able to have a little bit of that experience. I hunted public property, and while that was all well and good, you've all experienced it if you hunt public property. You've got a lot of great sportsmen out there and you have a few people that kind of spoil the whole experience. So I set a statement of, I want to get a piece of hunting property that I could manage, that I could have better opportunity to chase bigger deer, turkey, and just generally enjoy it, recreate on the property and grow things. I grew up corn, soybeans, wheat, and I wanted to grow something. I had that natural piece in me that I wanted to grow something, and the idea of chestnuts kind of was born from wanting to do that. So the first thing I think you should define is your why. Why do you want the land? Are you wanting to farm it? Are you wanting to manage timber? Are you wanting a place you can camp on it? Are you wanting to build a camp on it? All of those things are going to feed into what you're looking for, and you have to define that. Write it down. Talk with your spouse or your significant other. Talk with your family. But defining your why. Why do you want it? And then you're going to have to define your property. If you want hunting property, it has to be in an area where there's decent hunting or something that you can build on. If you're wanting to put a camp on it, it needs to be in an area that they allow you to put camps on it and whatever you want that to take form of. So defining your why will determine what you're looking for. Well, you've defined your why on why you want your own piece of land. You can run your fingers in the dirt, manage it, and possibly hand it down as a legacy of your life well lived. So you've figured out what kind of land you want, but it's going to take some time. You don't know where the land is. What can you do right now to make yourself better positioned to buy property? Well, it's the almighty dollar. You've got to get your finances straight. Even though I had started making a good income, I didn't buy a toy. I didn't buy a four-wheeler. I didn't buy a wave runner. I didn't buy a second property. I didn't buy lavish vacations. We went to Florida in the spring. We went to Minnesota with my family in the summer. We did vacations that were reasonable and that we could pay cash for. And I have a brother, a twin brother. I call him my womb mate. He runs a company actually that's called I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. And he talks about getting himself out of the living paycheck to paycheck, saving money and being able to accomplish far more than you ever thought you were able to with your money. And it all starts with stopping digging a hole, getting yourself out of debt. And he's very graciously given me a link. I get nothing out of this, but I think it's a good resource, a great resource for you. And you can get it for a deal if you click the link below. I get nothing out of that, but it's a way to something you can do right now and start saving money, because you're not going to be able to get land without some level of money. Property usually changes hands once or twice during your lifetime. So you need to be ready for when that perfect piece comes available. You don't want to send a link to your significant other and say, man, look, just imagine if we could. You want to be able to say, look at this, we're getting it. You're doing it right now. You're getting your finances all straightened up. You're going to get yourself set financially so that if the right deal comes available, you'll be ready to spring. So how do you find that deal? I looked at Craigslist. Craigslist was great. Craigslist is less great these days. But Facebook Marketplace, I've seen some decent land deals. Zillow can be decent. Get in touch with a couple real estate agents in your area. I recently purchased a property in South Carolina along with my twin brother, through an agent that I would have never known about the property, and she knew exactly what we wanted, and she contacted my brother and said, this property is amazingly priced. You should get it. And we moved fast on it, and we were able to move fast because we had ourselves financially right. Second, talk to neighbors in the area that you want to be. If it's where you live now or if it's where you want to be, walk by, introduce them. Go there with your significant other, your spouse, and say, hey, we're looking to get back into farming. We'd love to have a piece of hunting property, so they can see that you're nice, normal people. And you say, I love this piece of property right here where you're at. I love this piece of property. If you ever considered selling, think about me. And so that is a great way for you to get a little in when they may not be thinking about it now, but Johnny and their family may be going to college. They may be older and have nobody that's really interested, and they talk to their kids at Christmas and say, I had a guy who was interested. Are you guys interested in this piece of property? Otherwise, we're thinking about maybe selling. And that way we know it's going to people who are really going to care for the land. That's really important to landowners if they're going to put it out of the family. So talk to people in your area. You've been saving your money. You've been talking to people, and the moment's arrived. You found the perfect piece of land, and you've got to act now because somebody else may get that land. So how do you get that land? The way I had done it is I had already talked with a local bank. A local bank is many times much more willing to work with their citizens than some big name bank that just happens to have a branch in your area. This was a local bank. In my area, it was Marquette Savings Bank. They've been excellent working with me. I had saved enough money that I could make multiple offers. So what I did was made several different offers to the seller. I made an all cash offer, which was significantly lower than their ask. I gave them all cash was with no contingencies. Better offer, more money, but came with a contingency that I could get financing, and then a little higher number, they would owner finance it. They took the middle one. I didn't know which one they would take, and I would have had to scramble if it was the all cash offer, but it was low enough that I knew I could do it. You can't make offers if you can't make it happen, because then you're going to have no integrity. No one's going to really trust you if you make an offer. So the agent carried that deal through, and we were able to close the deal. Other choices, if you don't use local banks, almost every county in the U.S. has ag financing. We have Ag Choice, I believe it's called, in our area. Almost every county has it. Now their headquarters may be in one county and they service numerous surrounding counties, but look up USDA loans, farm loans. Doesn't mean you have to own a $300,000 tractor and a big combine. Ag loans can be very, very beneficial terms and require much less down payment and allow you to get that property. Talking to a local ag financing center and your local small-time banks often are willing to work with you, especially if you have a relationship with them already. So swing by, talk to them, tell them what your plans are. You'll be very happy you did when it comes time and you're not just springing it new and they already kind of know you and know that you've had plans. What things should you look out when you buy the property? Well, you want to look at any easements, any liens, tax liens, so forth on the property. You want to make sure there's no encumbrances. If there's right-of-ways, there may be right-of-ways. It may be okay that there's a right-of-way, but electrical, utility, are there any old gas wells, that sort of deal. Are you getting the gas and mineral rights? If you're not getting the mineral rights, then you may offer a lower price. It all depends on how valuable that land is to you. You want to make sure you have the timber rights. You want to have all the rights that you can to that property so that you can manage it to the best of your ability. But it's up to you to decide on what is acceptable to you when it comes time to close. I did not get a formal survey of the property, but that's something you may want to consider. So as I'm celebrating my 10th anniversary of closing on my piece of farm property that you've seen, Lake Erie Chestnuts and DeerAddiction, many of the videos that you've ever seen, closing a 10-year chapter on that January 7th of 2024. You will love yourself forever for having put in the hard work, getting your finances right, talking to people, and when you have your own property, those of you that have your own property, you can all attest and comment below on how great that feeling is that you have the property, that as long as you pay your bills and pay your taxes, no one is taking it from you. Hopefully this kind of gave you a little more insight into it. Your right now relevant thing is get your finances straight. Start saving money. If you have too many toys, stop the toy buying. Get the toys sold if you have to. Get that chunk of change, sit it in a bank account, and wait for the moment to have the perfect piece of property show up so that you can get it. Once you get that, you can add toys. But getting the land is the hardest part, in my opinion. You can always walk to the toy store and buy a toy, but you can't always get that piece of property. And remember what I said, average time they change hands during your lifetime is once or twice, and you want to be there when your perfect piece comes available. So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, give me a big thumbs up. If it wasn't, give me a big thumbs down and tell me how much you hated it. Remember, if you're not out there growing, you're dying. Thanks for watching us here, Lake Erie Chestnuts.